Going around with the
I sent you stuff. Yeah, I sent it to you and I didn't know if you guys, a lot of people go out of town for Memorial Day and I really didn't hear about this until like Friday. So I didn't know about it. Right.
The other one because she handed because she started her.
What was the date? Printer went off in 2002. Well.
I was surprised that there was that big gate operation. Had top data. Keep the data safe. You know the guy that sold the towers, building shop that they brought down. Yeah, whatever. That's where all the back was. No, looking around.
This is my son.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's no doubt about becoming higher.
I also have a blanket.
I guess
That felt good.
How are you? Okay, I knew I'd seen you before.
I'll be reading the statement, so where roughly should I be?
Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
I got the other one. I got the other one. Would you mind just starting off by saying his phone name, please?
Yes, it's Jack, J-A-C-K, Gilroy, G-I-L-R-O-Y.
Yep.
I'm president of the Broome County Veterans for Peace.
So first just tell us a little bit about your efforts to join the parade today.
Well, we have been turned down by the group, and I have a statement to read. But before we do that, we'd like to say that we have Vietnam veterans here and veterans of other conflicts. And we have right in front here our good friend Phil Stanton, who is one of the original members of Veterans for Peace. And we'd like you to remember as well a Congressional Medal of Honor winner who just died here a couple of months ago, who is a member of Veterans for Peace. Congressional Medal of Honor, as you all know, is the highest award for heroism. This particular man carried out 14 individuals, individually carried them out over a period of almost 8 hours to safety in a helicopter and sustained wounds himself. So that's Charlie Litke, who died just a few months ago. So for those two people, our Vietnam veteran right here that we have with us, and many others around, and of course Charlie Litke. I'd like to read a statement to clarify, and then we'll answer any questions. I'll answer questions, and maybe some other people nearby will answer them as well. Broome County Veterans for Peace has marched in all Memorial Day parades since 2003. By that time, the United States had already attacked Afghanistan, and the invasion of Iraq was in full swing following the massive bombing of the people of Baghdad. We were often subjected to cranky comments and even boos by the crowd in 2003, 2004. By 2005, they began to quiet down. By 2006, people were beginning to cheer for us. The attitudes have changed. This year, a new group of parade organizers has informed us that we're welcome to sit near the reviewing stand, but we are not to parade. The reason is that we have an agenda, and our agenda is peace, as represented by the flags, and everything that you see today is about peace. Stop the killing. That's what our agenda is. We invite U.S. military and veterans who may be watching any of this to consider joining Veterans for Peace. We meet just a short distance away from here on Riverside Drive at the Unitarian Universalist Church, and we meet every second Wednesday at 6:30 at the UU Church, which is right next to Lourdes Hospital. There's plenty of parking in the back of Lourdes Hospital. But we do thank the parade organizers. They have really helped us to rethink the whole situation about Memorial Day. I think that, you know, they have, number one, we thank them for allowing us to get the publicity that we have not been able to have in the past. Someone said that a lemon, meaning their sad exclusion of our group from the parade, has now been sweetened and has been turned into lemonade. And you people, of course, are helping us along, and we thank the media for being here. We don't know if we'll be marching in future parades or not. We may, that is future Memorial Day parades. We have discussed such things as going to Civil War veterans cemeteries. We know that in 1868, the call for Memorial Day was really a call not for Memorial Day, but for Decoration Day, where people were to go and put flowers on the graves and have silence and have prayer or meditation. And so we're leaning toward that, and they can march and have their military, etc. around, but we think we want to go and commemorate and remember the individuals there. So thank you very much again, and you can ask any questions you wish.
It seems to me, you know, peace and Memorial Day should go hand in hand. I guess, what are your thoughts about why you're not being included in this?
Well, we're not being because militarism has taken over the culture. We're saturated with militarism. It's taught by parents to their children. It's taught in the schools. I was a school teacher for over 30 years. And I know that many teachers just push that, bring in what they call the heroes, individuals who were lied to. Like 4 of my young men from Vietnam that were killed in Vietnam. You can see the plaque up at Main Inrow High School. Their names in bronze, but they're not here. Why? Because these good and decent young men were lied to. They were told that the Vietnamese, these peasant people, were going to be in San Francisco. They were going to be attacking the country. All of those crazy lies, and people believed it. Pardon? No, 4 students. 4 of my students. Well, that was a high school teacher, and 4 of my students. 4 out of the 5, in fact, that are in the bronze, plaque were my students.
You mentioned it was kind of a blessing in disguise to get the publicity now, but I guess what was your first, reaction when you found out that this wasn't going to be a year for you guys to march in the parade?
Well, my first reaction as a high school history teacher was that these guys must not have learned anything about the First Amendment. The First Amendment is our most cherished document. You know, you have the freedom to assemble, as these people are assembling. You have the freedom to speak, as you're allowing me to speak to you, right? You have the freedom of press. They have the signs that the people have here. And they, unfortunately, I don't know where they went to school, but they didn't learn an awful lot about the First Amendment.
So I understand this year that the organization of the parade kind of changed hands. It's now like a Broome County parade committee. So was it the committee that told you no? Was it like a specific person that told you flat out?
I was told by 2 individuals in the committee that yes. They said first we did not have the application in time. They said it was May 1st, yet they were advertising on May 8th for new people to join in. So there was no doubt about it that they said that again, our agenda was what bothered them.
Do you want to say who those committee members were?
No, I'm not going to say.
Now, I know you mentioned that going through this, it allowed you guys to kind of rethink the organization and what to do in the future. Can you just reiterate on the kind of thoughts that you all have going forward?
Yes. One of our members, formerly the president of the group, said he thought it might be interesting to go to Elmira, where there's a civil war. Many individuals died in Elmira during the Civil War. But our thoughts are that right here in Binghamton, there are graves of individuals who died during the Civil War. And perhaps maybe we'll locate those within the next year and consider about going and having our silent meditation prayer and the laying of flowers on the graves.
And I know the organizers say that the group goes against the agenda of the parade. Do you guys feel that at all?
I'm sorry?
Do you feel that you go against the agenda of the parade of Memorial Day?
Well, their agenda, yes, they said that they don't have an agenda, but their agenda is that they want to exclude us. Yeah, so I guess that's, that's an agenda.
Other than the meetings, do you have like a website, or are you guys on Facebook? Is there ways to get involved?
We're working on that. I think that we're ready to do that. As you notice, we're of an age where we're not Facebook people, but we have decided that yes, we're going to get on the Facebook now. Yes.
Is there anything else you want to put out there? Anything that we didn't cover that you want to?
No, I think you should work for peace and work with your Congresswoman, Claudia Tenney. She is very often requested to come to meetings, and she doesn't show. I think you've got to get to Kristen Gillibrand, our senator, and to Chuck Schumer, our senator. All of these people are almost always willing to support militarism, because militarism is so entrenched in the everyday livelihood of American people. We are the biggest exporter of weapons in the whole world. The president just came back from a so-called successful trip to Saudi Arabia. Yes, he sold $2 billion worth of weapons, including Hellfire missiles made by Lockheed Martin that are used to kill the poor people of Yemen. Well, one of the worst, economic conditions in the whole world today is Yemen, and this is what our armament is doing. So, yeah, I would advise people to get on the case of their congressional representatives. Ask them to come to town meetings. They're kind of afraid to do that. They don't like to do that.
Thank you.
Could I say a couple things?
Anybody who wants to get up and speak or whatever.
Tell me when we're live. I'm Dave Narby. I'm from Cortland, the Cortland Community for Peace, and I believe that in a perfect world, all veterans would be veterans for peace, and I don't understand why they're not. This is a day of mourning. This is a day of sadness and sorrow. It's not a day to glorify dying in war. It's not a day to glorify war. It's not a day to discuss the business of war, which is a subject which should not be dismissed, but should be saved for another day. It's not the place for it this day. And I came down here to support Jack and the Veterans for Peace, because I believe in the Constitution. I hear it said over and over that all the people that died in the wars died protecting our freedoms. And the greatest freedom we have is the freedom of speech, that we're not allowed to march in this parade today. And I think they're trampling on the Constitution when they do that. That's all. Thank you.
Can you spell your name?
Yeah,
Last name is Narby. N-A-R-B-Y. David Narby.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go see what the response is.
Yeah.
You can ask Bill a question if you want.
I didn't have to do anything.
Anybody else? There's a chance to get on TV. So much to say. Tell me what. Okay. I'd like to have people understand that we're not against the military. We need a strong military. There's bad people in this world that need to be dealt with from time to time. I cheered when they saved Captain Phillips from the Somali pirates. Those were bad men. But it's the way our military is used. We don't need to be led into another war that's based on lies, like Iraq, weapons of mass destruction, Vietnam, the Gulf of Tonkin. It's a total lie. 58,000 of our guys died.
Oh, okay. Well, yep, we're training. Thank you. You think that's right? That's right. That's why we're marching.
Yes, what you take.
You want to take a picture of that? Go ahead. Take a picture.
Subscribe to them.
I'm Randy Carlo Willis, and I'm from Citizen Action. And I would just like to say that we are among veterans who have fought and died, or not really fought and died, but fought in the Vietnam War, Iraq War, all these other wars, and they're here to help give back to the community, help to just show their patriotic duties to the U.S. and beyond. All they want is a chance to mark the parade non-violently, patriotically, and effectively.
Can you spell your name?
Randy, R-N-D-Y, Carlo, C-A-R-L-O, Willis, W-I-L-L-I-S. Randy Carlo.
I want to say something too. I'm Rick Sprout from the Binghamton Green Party, and I just wanted to say we're here to support our brothers and sisters in Vets for Peace. There's an old saying, pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living. There's new statistics that homeless vets, male vets are going down, women are going up. 33 vets commit suicide every day in the United States. This was an outrageous act by this group, saying that they didn't want people having a party, they didn't want people to come that would be interrupting. But what the Vets for Peace have been doing all along consistently is raising the issues about domestic spending and how vets are homeless, drug addicted, suicidal. And if you look at the website for the Broome County Veterans Affairs, their last newsletter didn't come out until last November. Okay, it's 7 months, 8 months now, there hasn't been a new one. The issue is about, we used to call it guns and butter. That's where the focus is, the priority is. And we believe that Veterans for Peace were being very vulnerable for this group to pick off. And this is how they do this with women, with African Americans, with all sorts of different small groups that don't have a lot of power. And we're going to keep fighting this and raise this debate and continue to work with people that love peace and want more domestic spending. And we hope other people will join us, as well as the Vets for Peace.
And can you spell your name as well?
Rick Sprout, S-P-R-O-U-T.
You say you're with the Green Party?
I'm from the Binghamton Green Party, Broome Tioga Green Party. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
You see that thing I posted last night about the general or something?
Denied permission to be in there. This is public property here. This is this is our street as much as anybody else's street. So we will give them the grace of walking through, but when the last group goes through, we should just file right in with the group. I'll be carrying that Veterans for Peace flag, for example. We do have already, some people have these flyers. This is a flyer which is a statement for the Veterans for Peace. And the national office is really happy about this because this is some of the best publicity that we have had for some time. In fact, we're almost hoping that the Goon Squad, that they that particular group, and if you don't want to, get into that particular situation, maybe you should walk along the sidewalk.
Make sure somebody films it.
Yeah, we do have some camera people here. That's a good point. Last time, Michael could testify to this. Last time, Michael, we should have had a camera because Michael even hollered into these guys, "Let him alone," whatever. But I asked these guys, I said, "How many of you goons are veterans?" Not one of them answered.
Yeah. Most of them aren't.
Yeah.
They
The
just
state
like
police stood
motorcycles.
at attention as they hustled me into this little circle, pushed around, and ripped up the sign. It was an innocuous sign because Lockheed Martin was right across the way, and it simply said, "Lockheed Martin has blood on it." And so they didn't like that.
I wonder why.
So, but we don't have any signs like that. That was pretty pointed, obviously. Our signs here are primarily basic peace signs, so there should not be any crankiness on their part. Let's wait and see. They don't like that yet. All right, so yeah, and if I can get some volunteers to walk along,
Listen, I don't want to get in the middle of the dispute, but what I didn't want to do is walk by and not acknowledge and say hello to everybody.
Thank you.
I'm president of the Broome County Veterans for Peace, and you can walk with us if you want.
They're gonna allow you to walk in the parade?
No, we're going to walk.
You're going to walk anyway?
Yeah.
Person doesn't need it. No, person really doesn't need permission. Admiral Grace Hopper used to say.
No, but I just saw some.
He said no peace signs in the parade, according to the Broome County. But Admiral Hopper used to say, if you think a thing is right, just go ahead and do it, because it's a lot easier to get forgiveness than it is to get permission.
Sure. Very good. Thank you for
How are you?
Here.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yep.
They brought her back.
You're welcome.
Yeah, what are you doing these days?
Same thing.
Still working?
Yeah.
Hey, Molly.
Go ahead.
Sort of. How about you? Down there.
Nice to see
I realize you got to cover a lot of ground, but you just take one.
We met at the Burt Adams disposal open, I think, through with Dixon Golf. Remember? We should be able to march. We're not marching this year, but there's a lot that we could do to help us march next year. We've been marching here for over a decade. I've been a veteran. I was a veteran for 11 years, Army Air Force. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to be in this parade. They say we have an agenda. Our agenda is peace. It's always been peace. So it's not like it's changed all of a sudden this year and it's more controversial this year for any reason. The only thing that's changed is the members of the parade committee for some reason have a problem with Veterans for Peace. I don't know why, but
so in full disclosure, I don't know what the issue is on the other side. Is that what you're
that's what
suggesting?
They're saying.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, they're saying that we have an agenda, and the agenda is that we're against peace, we're against war, for peace, and we should be able to march in the parade. And they say, well, it's because this is to memorialize veterans, and this is their 150th year. Well, how does the Broome County Corvette Society do that? How are they, memorializing veterans? We memorialize veterans because if veterans could speak for themselves and have fallen, they would want peace, right? They wouldn't want their ancestors dying in another war and some needlessly, So that's our only point. So I did contact Jason Gardner. I did contact Donna Loparno. I forgot about you. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Because I don't know you that well. I know Donna better and Jason better, but I know who you are.
Well, listen, I just wanted to stop and say hello and listen to your side. I'm sorry that you're going through this.
Thank you. We're marching.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
What do you think about marching at the end of the parade?
I don't understand what the other side is arguing or saying.
You go look at there's 33 deaths in suicide every day. You know that the rate of homeless males is going down, and that for women and children it's going up. And Vets for Peace, this is what they've always talked about. This is what they've always stood for, about raising issues about butter more than guns. If you go look at the Broome County Veterans Services website, the last newsletter they published was last November. So you did a great job with Donna Loparno about the move-over laws. Deal about from occupational health. And so you were concerned about workers. Vets for Peace are concerned about vets as much as anybody else, maybe even more so.
Well, we thank you and we applaud you for standing up for what you believe in. Hopefully the situation
maybe you could stay with us and march with us so we could, in case the police come.
Well, I don't think they're going to.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They already admitted that they were assaulted.
Yeah.
Over in the they took a sign and ripped it up. And they're threatening again.
Have a great day, folks.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Now, people are beginning to wise up that the Democrats and Republicans
Yeah, I know you are. You think I'm doing a good job. you get it?
I think I did. Yes, I did. Thank you.
God bless you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Just to come along with this, it's all about peace. It's not. It's not any issue other than stop the killing. That's all we're saying.
What is the disconnect? Someone had suggested because there's been a change in
yeah, they changed it from the city county to the committee, and I'm sure they're good guys, but they have this attitude that they really represent what America's all about. And
is there a chance for dialogue with this group and connect?
Yeah, that'd be good. It would be good. Maybe if you're interested in bringing that about, that would be fine.
Sure.
I'll send you the information, their telephone numbers or whatever.
Yeah, would you do that? Do you have a card, Mina, please?
What does that say?
Is it in the car? Where's Benji? Would you go run and get one? Sure. We'll give you a card just so you can contact us, and I think the dialogue is probably good, right?
Oh yeah, we have nothing against those fellows. A good friend of mine was Congressional Medal of Honor winner. He just died a few months ago, and I tried to at least show his book that he almost finished before he died. But he was his argument was 3 tours there, and these guys think that we're just a bunch of wimps because this is our view, this is our attitude for peace.
It's why people die, right? I mean, so we can have these conversations, right? Enjoy these meetings. So, would you please just send Benji an email and then would you try to have a conversation?
I'm Mina, but
this is Mina. That's Benji's card.
I didn't have one on me. Sorry about that.
Okay, I'll do that.
Love to touch base with you.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Hi, guys.
I told my daughter, buying back her time, I said, you never know when they close the door. Yeah. Well, okay, they gave me a full 33.
It's a what?
My day. Right. That's the balance out. That's a more secure retirement.
Do you know how to salute them? Like this?
I know you believe me, but I heard people saying that.
Other hand, Dominic.
Here comes the parade, starting from the American Legion 2 blocks up, ending at the courthouse.
No.
When Stu was, I don't know who, somebody.
That's what your uncle, that was Uncle John Dad's dad, the brother with the state trooper.
Share it around, Joe, okay? Candy. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Hey, Donna. You got one? How are you?
Thank you.
Hey, Jason. Donna. How you doing? Got something for me there, too? Yes. Definitely not. Thank you. There you go, buddy.
Thank you.
It was some kind of
I know.
We have a job. Stop killing.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
United States.
Yeah.
They all have that.
I didn't quite hear everything she said.
Gee, I don't know. That's an oldie but goodie.
Some of them are called themselves disabled veterans. But I don't think it's just that. I think it's a group of guys who came together and they started this guy kept speaking all the time.
Probably the younger one might like it, not the older one, I guess.
Marion and I know each other. Oh, nice. And I think a lot. Yeah, they just that's not a good sign.
We have, I guess one of the
Jack! Is that the guys? Oh, no. Jack! You think these are the guys?
They could be.
Oh, that sounds.
See how many ponytails are there?
Oh, they have ponytails? Okay.
Everyone, we're
talk to you.
Well, we get bad rep as well as
Oh, no. Never.
They could have a sign. Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah, but then they got the ones on the bike as well. The ceiling tires. Oh, those old. Oh, I read this.
I learned it in
What is it? You read it? They have stickers? Is that what they do? We were threatened by the motorcycle.
How dare I talk conspiracy? This point,
who are these guys?
You go down here,
They've been in these trains for years. They were moving.
don't understand.
I need a ladder.
Even with my back, it took me till December of that year to figure out how to pull it off. Many of us do that morning.
Oh, color's gone.
But it's still, it's like, how do you do it?
You're welcome. Hello. Hi, how are you?
Here, take one of these.
Thanks. I do know her, but I don't know. Oh my God. I'll have Bill make a list.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, let's put a part. You want me to hold something else for you?
Your portrait. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, look at this.
My own
That would be Ooh, yes. Give me one. Oh, yes. Ready.
Hi.
Look at that.
Handing out flyers.
Oh, look at here comes more candy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Whitty.
Thank you.
This Saturday, which I can't. I'm not getting set up, but I'm not going.
Well, the governor said it was 15 Saudis, 2 from UAE, 1 from Libya, 1 from...
Yeah, how come they're kissing everybody now in the Middle East? That was a good one, right?
Some of us knew the moment it happened.
Right.
Why? Because we knew how to fly. We knew how the air defense system worked. If I dropped this, and it went that way instead of that way, you'd wonder about it, right? You say, this guy expected it to do that, they want that. You'd ask a question. Same thing. You know, we saw things happen that couldn't happen.
Right.
Sherlock Holmes. What's the rest of that line?
They almost had to go to a wedding. I got this.
Oh, look, there's your grandma. Oh, the dog's barking. Hi, take me for a ride.
Looks like, yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Should we go in here? the end of the parade here.
I have missed the phone. The wrong hand.
These guys will be so pissed when we
Please have our backs, so we have nothing to worry about. We are.
When it finally gets warm.
What is it good for? You think I'm stupid or something?
Oh, wow. Look how beautiful.
Veterans for Peace are in the march. Not by invitation, but they walked in there. Jack in the lead. We got the bridge here on Main Street.
Your wife would probably would not stop too.
Gotta put it on Facebook. At the same time. There are some of my friends who just not think this is unusual.
For the baby.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
I got pictures of both of them.
So that's all, that part.
Okay, dear, I'm gonna go.
What are you gonna go choose?
Come on, we'll look in the car. I'll look in the car.
You just take a step forward, one step forward, together, about
I see you.
one step forward, together, about and then once you're here, we're going to unfold everything.
I was doing it in the bedroom. I told her to stop. Yeah. It's so wrong. Yeah, you need to get that close. I would shoot one.
I don't see anybody.
I'm going to read this one. Yeah, just be careful.
You're gonna drop it again. Here's mine.
Sure, give away all my handouts.
From the force of Oma to
So I'm a person.
All safe.
To begin our program, the national anthem will be performed by Beverly Hipson.
singing two verses. Oh, say, can you see where the dawn early lies was so proudly real at the twilight's last gleaming, hope strikes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets that fell for some bursting in air gave truth through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say those our star-spangled banner high and wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, the wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This morning, but I decided that it was so important to be here on Memorial Day that I'm here, and I was asked to read something on behalf of the Marine Corps League, and I'm honored to do that for them. And please hear these great words on the case for observing Memorial Day presented to you by the Marine Corps League. Each year at this time, we reaffirm our commitment to preserve an ideal and tradition that has endured since the end of the Civil War, to honor the memory and sacrifice of the brave men and women who have worn our colors in all wars. It is the solemn, if unwritten pledge of every soldier, Marine, sailor, airman, and Coast Guardsman, forged through the common bond of their service, to never leave a comrade behind and never forget their sacrifice. But what about those of us who have never worn the uniform? Isn't it equally, if not more important, that we all put the demands of our daily lives on hold, if just for a brief time, to reflect and honor those who unselfishly gave their tomorrows for our today? For if not us, then who? The very fiber and character of a nation requires we all remember and honor those whose sacrifice is made to a higher cause than their own, and we can never let them or our nation down. Who among us has not been touched in some way by the sacrifice of the brave men and women we remember and honor this day? For the most part, they were young and carried the same hopes and aspirations we all share in common. They were not strangers to many of us. They were parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, and classmates. Closer to home, they were the sons of our Gold Star families with us today. To those who may seem complacent or indifferent about the ideal, observe the words of the late Oliver Wendell Holmes, Jr., one of the most famous U.S. Supreme Court justices and wounded at the Civil War battles of Ball's Bluff, Antietam, and Chancellorsville in his 1984 Memorial Day address. Quote, "So to the indifferent inquirer who asks why Memorial Day is still kept up, we may answer, it celebrates and solemnly reaffirms from year to year a national act of enthusiasm and faith. It embodies in the most impressive form our belief to act with enthusiasm and faith is the condition of acting greatly. To fight out a war, you must believe something and want something with all your might. So must you do to carry anything else to an end worth reaching. More than that, you must be willing to commit yourself to a course, perhaps a long and hard one, without being able to foresee exactly where you will come out. All that is required of you is that you should go somewhere as hard as you ever can. The rest belongs to fate. One may fall at the beginning of the charge or at the top of the earthworks, but in no other way can he reach the rewards of victory. In closing, we pray for peace, but recognize that with each new war that may come, there will come new sacrifice. The words spoken then will, as true as those spoken today, just as they were in 1984. Therefore, we pledge today to preserve the ideal upon which the state was founded. God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Tenney. And now, a few words from New York State Assemblywoman Donna Lepard.
You were wounded in battle with scars and disease. We honor you with joy. For all that you've done, you stood strong for our country, for our daughters and sons. So no one stands alone. We walk hand in hand. Remember, we are with you. Together we shall stand. On this Memorial Day, let us express our love and thanks for the sacrifice you paid. You served in honor for many years and days. And we will never forget how you were strong and brave. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing our ranks who gave a portion of their lives for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature, for as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace as well as in time of war for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, For in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixfold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The sevenfold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all her enemies, whether they are found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eightfold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day. The ninefold is a tribute to womanhood and mothers, for it has been through their faith, their love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The tenfold is a tribute to the Father, for he too has given his sons and daughters for defense of our country since they were first born. The 11-fold represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in the Hebrew's eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12-fold represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in the Christian's eyes God the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit. The 13th fold, or when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today. At this time, I would ask you all to stand and salute all those who have sacrificed all of their tomorrows for the freedoms we enjoy today.
Sergeant Fire Detail, prepare fire volley 3. Detail is hook, port, arm. That's right, face. Ready. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Aim. Front. Relay. Arm.
This concludes our observance of Memorial Day 2017. Thank you all for being here. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Land that we own. That's it, I'm out.
Thank you, but no thank you. Corporal, Corporal and a sergeant.
Oh yeah. Well, you know.
Are you part of the parade committee?
Who are you?
I'm part of the Peace Veterans for Peace.
I'm not interested.
You're not part of the committee?
Nobody knows your last name. I'll give you German.
Would you like to have dialogue with the Veterans of Peace?
I like that. I kind of like that.
I even met the sergeant major of the Marine Corps, the sergeant major. Here's another thing, I met the commandant, General Miller.
All right, I'll forgive this week.
He was right there on the side. He's going to be General Miller. Friday evening. Doing this, you know? Yeah.
Lost my legs.
Yes, you did. Yeah. That's right. You were in the car when I saw you.
Yes. Chris. Are you there both Wednesday and Thursday? I don't want to show. You weren't there the last time I was in. So
I know. I've been sick a lot.
I know. So that's what I mean. If you're not going to be in, let me know. So I won't. I'll wait and come in when you're there.
Yeah. No, I'll be in all week.
Okay. All right.
All right. Because those security clearances came back. I don't know who they are. Right?
Because personnel signed it for me because you weren't in, and I didn't want to hold it up. So Jim
Dinamio.
Yeah, I think that's who signed them. He says, "Well, Michelle says, hey, Ryan's not in."
To me, so I'm like,
I took them down to personnel. So can you just go ahead and get it?"
Yeah, that's fine.
I am training here. I'm training here very well.
Thank you. Very nice. Very, very brave.
Peaceful protests are what we fought for. Thank you.
Yes, and that's what I'm waiting on is for them to get their ID cards, and then I'll bring them in and.
Yeah, well, they can come in anytime.
Yeah. Well, it's easier if they're able to get in the building and that. You know what I'm saying? With the badge instead of having to go through all that. So.
All right, good things are happening.
Yes.
Hi, Brian. We were wondering how is it private the parade committee?
Who? I'm sorry.
How is it private the parade committee for the parade this year? We were told it's a private committee. How did it become private, and who's behind it? Is the county funding it at all?
No, the county has nothing to do with any financing the parade. I'll tell you how this happened. Is the previous chairperson.
Hi, Brian. I don't know if you remember me. It's Diane Hunter.
Oh yeah, hi.
Nice to see you.
She took ill. There's actually a lot of the committee people took ill because there were a lot of World War II veterans.
Wow.
So over the years, the committee actually kind of disintegrated. So there's only one person who was the chair lady. Last year, she said she can't do it anymore. So this was kind of an ad hoc committee that just formed like not even a month ago.
Well, what's going to happen after today? The reason why I'm asking is because we feel that Veterans for Peace was wrongfully excluded from the parade. Obviously, we marched at the end of it, but we're veterans too. The organizer came up in front of me and my daughter because I had a sign and told me because I was not a combat veteran that I needed to get out of here. And I told him, I'm a veteran. It doesn't matter that I'm not a combat veteran. And he was very disrespectful to many of us. And obviously, we don't want to see the same thing happen next year. We were very peaceful.
Last year, how were you invited last year?
We've been marching the parade forever. As a matter of fact, the first time I marched was when she was 2 months old.
Now I know you participated, but I mean, did you get like an invitation from?
No, there's an application I heard too.
There's a form that's filled out and people pay to be in it. I've never dealt with that part. Jack Gilroy and
To my
and
knowledge,
George
some kind of
Hessler have already
application
dealt with that.
So they just formed at the last month, and then
about a month ago, yeah.
So what was their purpose in excluding some people or saying that they're private?
Well, the reason they said was because they felt we had an agenda. Our agenda is a peaceful agenda.
See what he says.
But the question is if it's only about memorializing veterans and paying tribute to veterans, how does the Corvette Society do that? And how do the other organizations that have nothing to do with veterans, like karate, how do they do that? If anything, karate promotes peace. You know that, and I know that. But why were we excluded? Apparently,
I can't really speak for the committee itself.
Well, the reason why I'm asking,
I don't want to misrepresent either
the reason why I'm asking is because after today, I feel that there should be some dialogue about how next year's parade is going to be dealt with. Because if it's only about representing veterans, then people like karate and Corvettes and all that should be excluded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're veterans. It's run by veterans. The officers are veterans. I was a veteran for 11 years, as you well know. So to be disrespected like that in front of my daughter was not appropriate, just not because I'm in uniform. I mean, there are many veterans here today that weren't in uniform.
Yeah.
But I have to come next year in my uniform, which after a baby, I honestly don't fit in anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The only thing I can suggest is maybe engage in some more dialogue.
Yeah, that's what they're
Donna
saying.
Lopardo and Fred Ashkar said they were going to try that, but he will not even talk peacefully.
I mean, I don't know what the circumstances with your group is, but I know some other organizations were left out as far as not being invited.
Right.
And they called and said, hey,
it would seem to me that the Broome County, the parade for Binghamton should not be a private function. It should be run by a Broome County entity. Because then you don't have people that have grudges or whatever issues that bring it into it that don't invite people. You know, we're very respectful during the parade route. We saluted all the veterans. We're veterans. You know, I don't expect to be disrespected like that in front of my daughter, who I brought for a purpose here today. You know.
Yeah. The only thing I can suggest is maybe engage more with.
So who would be the one to engage with? Who's on the committee?
Well, actually, there's quite a few members.
I mean, if you have a private committee, you usually have somebody that oversees that committee. The question is who oversees the parade committee?
Well, I can't really speak for them because, like I said, it's a
I figured if anybody would know, you would. Because I know you. I've known you for over a decade.
I mean, we try to support, this whatever the endeavor is.
Right.
But we're not directly involved with all the decision making. So that's that's why I really don't want to
It's okay. If you could and somebody brings it up to you about having a meeting about next year, we'd certainly appreciate being invited.
Right. And also to have a dialogue at this time at some point, since there was this controversy. Maybe there could be a dialogue.
Literally, he wouldn't have come up with to me if I didn't have the sign. I don't think that there would have been, he wouldn't have known that I was with Veterans for Peace if I hadn't had the sign. But obviously you can see what the sign says. Literally, peace be with you. That's what engaged him in a dialogue with me for no reason. I mean, obviously I don't know the man. I know you better than I know him, So, anyway, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Same here.
Thank
All right,
you.
have a good day.
You too.